What's good with it, y'all? It's Coffee on the Vid. And y'all know we're talking some hip hop, man. So I need y'all to join this debate, discussion. We got to break this down. But before we get into it, I just got to say RIP to the legend Pimp C. You know what I mean? You see, we're talking about UGK is involved in this whole discussion. So no question, RIP to the Pimp, man. I always say, you know, in this current blogosphere era, whenever I'm talking about hip hop and Pimp C is mentioned in any way, I say, man, could you imagine if Pimp C was alive these days and he had a podcast, he was making content that would be the realest ish? Like, that would be some next level ish. Comment, let me know if y'all agree with that. But let's get into this.
Jay-Z took the first 4 bars of 99 Problems from you, from a song called Touched.
Yes.
Do you feel like a lot of people don't know that?
I feel like enough people know, but I don't feel like it's that big of a deal though.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's a bite. I just think to me it's a big deal because it's tribute.
Yeah.
Like it's a tribute. It's not a bite.
No,
It's a tribute.
I would call it mutual respect more than
Yes.
anything. We do this a lot in hip hop,
Yes.
right? Where we have artists who have said things that like, yo, fuck, that was dope. The way he said that, You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you want to pay homage to that wordplay. Like, how many rap songs, Quality, do you listen to and been like, I would have rhymed that last bar like this?
All the time.
Yeah, every time you hear someone's rhyme, you'd be like, that's a dope rhyme, but actually I would have said that instead of this. And then you would have murdered it. Or if you would have just put this in front of that, in between those, he would have summed it up. You would have had to put that pause there. You're critiquing these things in real time. This is a dope line. I don't think enough people heard this shit. I'm going to drop this shit in here. You know, sometimes you take a dope line and make it a hook, and then people got to go back and figure it out. But no, I don't think a lot of people know that. I don't think it's a big deal that they don't know, or a big deal if they do. I think it's dope because the fans look at it like, yo, Jay-Z, like, took a piece of your rhyme. Like, I didn't know that was your shit. I'm like, it's all good.
So Jigga Man borrows some bars from Bun B, a song called Touch, right? Now, I'm not gonna front. I didn't know this. Y'all let me know if you guys knew this already. Comment. I did not know. But now that I know, and I studied up on all the bars, everything mentioned in this whole debate discussion here, Bun B said, I don't know if a lot of people know or not, but it's not a big deal. And it's really not, you know, because in music, in hip hop and other genres of music, there's sampling, there's paying homage, like Talib Kweli was saying. And yes, he borrowed those 4 bars or whatever, and this is something we've seen Hov do before. But in this instance, it's not like he just bit Bun B at all in any way. He took some classic bars and, you know, he implemented it into a whole different piece of art. 99 Problems is a fire track. I love the beat on it. Let me know if y'all do as well. Like the Black Album period. I mean, I'm just a big Jay-Z fan personally. But in this instance, I don't see it in any kind of negative way at all. I think it's dope at the end of the day. Now, like I said, we've seen Hov do this before. If you guys remember what Nas tell him, how many of Big's rhymes is going to come out of your lips. When Cam was beefing with him, he had that whole I'm not a biter, I'm a writer, you know, where he flipped Hov's words around or whatever, and then it was on like a mixtape. Comment if y'all remember that back when the roc-a-fella split happened. Killer Cam was going in on Jay-Z. They were siding with Dame Dash, and they had that song with J.J. Evans, R.I.P. Jimmy Walker, J.J. Evans from Good Times, playing Hov with some commissary jailhouse flip-flops on in the video and everything at the Waffle House. He said, I told you you're just mine and everything. That was a cold diss game, but Cam was getting at Jay for the same thing, using some of Biggie's lyrics. He had a whole track where he broke it all down on the mixtape or whatever the fuck that was from. And he said, you stole roc-a-fella from Dame. But even with Big in that instance, yes, Jay does it, but I always felt he did it in a dope way when it came to Big as well. And, you know, Big and Jay-Z were super tight. You know what I mean? Like, Big wanted to put on a lot of people. He wanted to see others do their thing as far as Junior Mafia, Jay-Z, other artists. And I don't know. I just can't really think ever in an instance when Jay-Z's done this in bit lyrics and it wasn't in a creative way. You know, like they were talking about when it comes to hooks. I've seen that many times. Hooks, a dope song, some dope bars get taken and flipped into a hook. That's kind of wild when we're talking about Jay-Z again here in Nas. Remember with Jay, he said, "You made it a hot line. I made it a hot song," with the whole dead presidents thing. Speaking of UGK, the song that they're saying that these lyrics came from, or that they did come from, is a track, Bun spitting some bars off a track off, I believe, Riding Dirty. And the song was called Touched. And we know Riding Dirty, Chamillionaire took that and made a whole track. That was the hook. They trying to catch me riding dirty. You know what I mean? Like, there's biting and then there's sampling and being creative. And that's what it is. And that's what happened in this instance, in my opinion. And that's just a part of what makes hip hop so dope. So often I give different examples of things and I talk a lot of football or whatever. But remember when my Buffalo Bills pretty much created the no huddle offense. Other teams piggybacked off that and did that and put their own type spin on it. When the Miami Dolphins was killing it with Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams and the Wildcat offense, check the paw prints, right? Other teams was doing, like, in other worlds outside of hip hop, period, being creative is being creative. And biting is biting and copying, and I don't know. That's just not what I see going on here at all. But once again, I didn't know that Jay had borrowed those particular bars, but I think he did it in a fire way and paid homage to some legends. So comment with your thoughts on all this. We're gonna actually get into another hip hop blog soon that ties into lyrics in a different way, not in the exact same way we're speaking of right now, but you'll see. Stay tuned for that. But real quick before I close it out, as we're talking about Jay-Z, UGK, Bun B, B.I.G., R.I.P. Pimp C, Killer Cam, Nas, all that. But when it comes to J, Bun B, UGK, big track, obviously, that they collabed on together, Big Pimping, off Volume 3, which I thought was a fire, underrated Jay-Z album. Comment with your favorite Jay-Z album, period. And then also comment with your favorite Jay-Z in my lifetime. Because what was there? Volume 1, 2, and 3. I feel like most cats are going to go with Volume 2, The Hard Knock Life, which is a class. Like, Jay is a classic too, but I don't know. I just feel like Volume 3 gets slept on. But nonetheless, they're all dope. They're all classic, you know. But something that came up in the news lately was the Big Pimpin' video. If you guys recall, back then it was a big thing featured on MTV. Remember, they used to have making the video and everything, and back then Hype Williams was that dude. Tons of comment your favorite Hype Williams video. I remember Q-Tip Vibrant thing was my ish, but he was that guy back then. Just like whoever, just like how the Neptunes are still dope. They still make dope beats, but I'm saying at one point in time, the Neptunes were the like, if you put out an album, you had to have a Neptunes beat. You know what I mean? If you put out an album, you had to have a Nate Dogg hook. Hype Williams at one point in time, he was that dude with them videos. And when they made that MTV making the video episode for Big Pimpin', that was a big thing that was discussed. We're on the race to 1 million. This is $1 million video, etc. And more recently, Bun B has been doing, as you see, this is coming from his interview on People's Party with Talib Kweli. He did another interview recently. It's cool to see Bun B out here doing this promo run, doing interviews. I wonder if that means we're going to get some new music from Bun B. But he got into talking about Big Pimpin' and regarding the whole $1 million thing, because I forget, comment someone if y'all remember, if you've seen this in other blogs, what video was said to be the first $1 million video. That's been the whole debate lately. Nah, Big Pimpin' wasn't really the first $1 million video, etc. I forget, there were some other examples given. Bun B actually like elaborated and said maybe this wasn't the first $1 million video, but it was the first video that was budgeted for $1 million. You know what I mean? Like, there were videos that were budgeted for less, but with all the other costs and everything, at the end of the day, it ended up over $1 million. Jay-Z was Big Pimpin', Jay-Z featuring Bun B, Pimp C, UGK was the first video that was off the rip budgeted for 1M. You know, he said it was just like nothing you had never seen before. It was something else. It was out of this world. And it was a lit video, man. It really takes me back right around the year 2000 hitting. Man, music can just take you back. Isn't it crazy, guys? Sometimes, like, sounds of music really will just take me back to different eras in my life. You know what I mean? In my lifetime. My bad. But Bun B clarified on that. And again, comment if you remember what the other video that was hitting the blogs. No, this was the real first $1 million video. Bun said maybe that's what it is, but this was the first one budgeted that way. And something else interesting he said about the track, the collab between him, R.I.P. Pimp C once again, and Hove, was that Big Pimpin' actually wasn't really intended to be a single. You know what I mean? No, it's different nowadays. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still singles released and whatnot, but it's just totally a different era with streaming and among other things. But y'all remember back then, an album would come out and there might be 2-3 tracks that between the artists and the label, sometimes they would disagree on that. That's another thing we've heard of over the years, where artists would say, yo, I wanted to lead off with this track. I wanted to lead off with this track. Or hell, I didn't even get to put this track on the album. The album said, or I'm sorry, the label and A&Rs and all that said, nah, that's scrapped. Over the years, we saw a lot of tracks like that come out later on mixtapes. Like, the music game and rap game has just changed so much over the years. But what I'm getting at is, like, between the artist, the label, the creative team, when they would all come together, sit at the round table in politic, they would have maybe 2-3 songs where they would say, okay, these are going to be the singles. These are the songs we're going to try to get out to the radio stations and get some spins and get airplay. And we're going to shoot music videos for this one. And we're going to try to get them on MTV and BET and everything like that. Man, again, things have just changed so much. Bun B said that originally, was not what was supposed to be in the cards for Big Pimpin', but that's what ended up happening. I think it was the second release that came out. The first one from that particular album, the first one was 5 a.m. on my way, or what is it? On my way to the club. Or was it 1 a.m.? No, 1 a.m. on my way to the club. You know what I'm talking about. Throw their hands up. And then they had Big Pimpin'. I can't remember if there was another video released off that project. If it was just Throw Their Hands Up and Big Pimpin'. But something that was weird that happened around that time, I don't know if a lot of y'all will remember this. Beanie Sigel and Jay-Z, I think they're back on good terms now. But at one point in time, Beanie was doing some interviews and saying some less than discouraging things about Jay-Z, airing out some differences and grievances. Whenever Beanie's name comes up, I always got to say too, man, he had a dope career, but I think it was supposed to go way different personally. Like, Beans was supposed to be way bigger than he ever was. He's the truth, the reason, all that. But his album, The Truth, was out then. Remember, he had his leadoff, speaking of videos and singles and all that, his leadoff one right around that same era was I Speak the Truth every time I step in the booth and all that. Truth, that's what I be, shall set you free and all that. Jay-Z actually had a song, I'll Do Anything, which was kind of reminiscent of the Hard Knock Life, because it was like a Broadway musical, Annie on the hook. There was another one, I don't know if that was from Oliver Twist or what it was from, where it said, I'll do anything, anything for you. And it was actually from Beanie Siegel's album, but it was like a Jay-Z solo song, and a video and everything was dropped for that. It was odd and bizarre. I never quite understood why Hove had a track off Beanie's album and why they ran with that as a single and everything is kind of odd. Am I tripping? I have to look that up. Was Beanie on that song and they just cut him off? Like, why did Jay-Z have a solo release from a Beanie Siegel project? Is very odd, you know, because that was Bean's first album, but he had The Truth, and then he had that other one with Eve, that All Good Now, We Out the Hood Now. And he also had What You Know What a Thug About, Lockdown. You know, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? But I'm getting to talk in circles and Babylon as I do. That's just kind of something Jay Coffee does from time to time. Apologies, y'all. I just like to coffee talk it up with y'all and hear from you guys. So tap in, hit them comments, let's talk. Once again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to sub up. Stay tuned. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.